It's for sure one of the more anticipated aircraft models from Herpa Wings this year. A standard livery, maybe with a few exceptions, but still overall standard livery, narrow body A320NEO in the colors of Eurowings. What could possibly go wrong? That's what we want to find out. And we can do so thanks to the great support from Jumbolino Model, where you can get very nice models at reasonable prices with great service. So do check them out. You can find a link to them in the video description below. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we, as mentioned, will take a closer look at an Airbus A320NEO of Eurowings. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the Eurowings branding. The back side of the box, unfortunately, no big revelation. It is still the standard Herpa Wings box design, which means yet another cutout, and really not much more positive to say about that. So let's not waste more time with that and take a look at the model inside. And here she is, the Airbus A320NEO in the standard livery of Eurowings, although there are a few stickers promoting the A320NEO, but I still think we can consider this as a standard livery aircraft model from the airline that, of course, is quite often featured by Herpa Wings, at least compared to many other airlines. But we haven't seen the A320NEO featured just yet. That is changing now. But this quite anticipated model for, I think, quite many collectors. Well, how has Herpa done with it? That is what we want to find out. And we will find out by taking a closer look at it. Starting off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the color scheme of Eurowings. That, of course, continues from the stabilizer down onwards to the fuselage, where we then also find the flag of the European Union, the flag of the Federal Republic of Germany, and of course we also have the full registration code of the aircraft. No other details here to be found except at the very tail of the aircraft, where we have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. Now at the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we of course find the writing of Eurowings. Underneath that we have the aircraft type specification with a bit of advertisement with the slogan here: less noise, less fuel, less CO2, and underneath that the hashtag make change fly. So yeah, a lot of promotion on this aircraft model, advertising this new aircraft type in the Eurowings fleet. Then of course we also have some static ports, and we find the Eurowings branding or logo just underneath the cockpit windows, which leads us to the cockpit section, where we have the cockpit windows with the neo black mask and the window wipers. And that's about it. Definitely the black mask helps out the shape of the nose here and the cockpit shape in general, because that often is quite a bit wonky, but I think in this case it looks more or less fine. Then we have the engine nacelles. They have been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, but do have the silver leading edge printed on, as well as some safety markings. The physical detailing of them, I think, is overall quite decent. I don't really have much to complain about. Also looking very nicely here from the front, where we can see the engine fan blades. And from those we can move on to the fuselage here just above the wings, where we find the emergency exits have been printed on, leading us on to the wings, where we have the different flap slats and spoilers carved out quite nicely, and we also have the markings for the emergency exits printed on. The underside of the wing has more nice physical detailing, and of course the Neo also comes with these winglets, where I think Herpa has done a fairly decent job with adding the color scheme of the airline. But you do need to check every single A320 family aircraft model individually when they have winglets, because Herpa is incredibly inconsistent with those. On this side I think it looks fine, on the other side slightly different bend, but still within margins, I would say. Now the landing gear is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all the Airbus A320 family aircraft models. Main landing gear looking just fine. Front landing gear, as always, massively oversized, and it is of course also missing any printed details. What a shame. What is also a shame is what Herpa has done to the printed detail they added to the belly of the aircraft in form of the Eurowings branding, which then of course immediately destroyed with a hole in the fuselage for a stand that is not included with this aircraft model. Just why? On top of the fuselage, however, they did better, because the aircraft does technically have a set dome, but it is really rather tiny, so they've simply added it as a printed detail, which I think is the right decision, because if they can't make it right in physical detailing, this is a perfect compromise. And then last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here at the back of the aircraft, and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A320NEO in the standard livery of Eurowings from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Now, firstly, I think it is just positive that Herpa has made this model. Is it a big surprise? No, not really, but still it is nice that they have made this model because it, of course, is much anticipated and many collectors will have good use for such a model in their collection. But how has Herpa done with the aircraft model? I mean, overall, on first glimpse, it's pretty much a standard A320neo from Herpa Wings. We still have maybe not the ideal cockpit or nose shape. It is definitely helped along with the Neo Black mask, which really helps cover up this weird shape. We still have the oversized front landing gear. And unfortunately, on this aircraft model, we do also still have the very flat wings. What do I mean by that? Well, Herpa, for some reason, has started in the last few months to, on quite a few aircraft types, to add the wings in at an almost perfect 90-degree angle, which is, of course, just way too flat. It doesn't impact the engine clearance, which is, I guess, a good thing, but it is still just annoying because when you place this aircraft model next to another, for example, A320neo, then you will see quite a significant difference in the placement of the wings. Now, when we then take a little bit of a closer look at the print itself, it actually also looks pretty alright. Herpa has done quite well in recreating the Eurowings livery. And in terms of smudges or clean edges, I mean, that's pretty good. I don't really see any smudges on the model. The edges are nice and clean. But we do actually have some print line issues, believe it or not. Yes, it's really hard to see because most of the aircraft model is white, so there won't really be print lines there. But actually, if we turn the aircraft around and look at the tail of the aircraft, here we do have some print lines. But I don't think this is too bad. Firstly, we have seen far worse. Secondly, it is at a place of the livery where we have quite a few color transitions, so it's definitely going to be difficult to recreate without any print lines. And these print lines are on the belly of the aircraft, so at the least visible part of the aircraft model. Is it ideal when Herpa still has this aircraft model selling at a recommended retail price of 40 euros? For sure not, but it is definitely the least impactful place where you could have these print lines. Ultimately, I think it is still a fairly good scale 500 aircraft model, at least considering Herpa's standards at the moment. For me, the biggest issue is really the very flat wings. If that is something you can live with, that is of course ultimately a decision only you can make, but now you know about it if you didn't know about it beforehand. But what's your opinion on that? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like. If you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? And with that, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.